The World Health Organization has launched a case study documenting the Kingdom of Bahrain's successful response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The study specifically details the kingdom's extensive efforts put in place to combat the spread of the disease and highlights the best practice examples and lessons learned from the pandemic.
It is a role model, I would say. With all the experiences that the world had with dealing with COVID-19, Bahrain stands out as one of the best practice kind of experience because we cover all the aspects. I will say we had this ideal public health action that we did during the COVID-19. We started early, we planned, we prevent, we did establish testing centers. All of these actions were harmonized in a way. The dynamic of doing this where though it was centralized, but at the same time it was harmonized within the government, within the society, the engagement of everybody.
The information of this case study will further stress the fact that healthcare remains a priority for the government of Bahrain and that the commitment at the highest political levels were vital to the success of Bahrain's COVID-19 response under the leadership of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and the constant follow-up of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister.
The leadership was the success or the key to have this success story. We established the task force, the national task force, early on, before at least 3 to 4 weeks before the first case of COVID-19 diagnosed in Bahrain. And from that day, we prepare as a team, and if I'm referring to we, as I always refer to Bahrain team, we prepared ourselves for the next cases because we knew it will come definitely to Bahrain. So the task force established, the preparedness started.
This is Sarah Lebrek reporting for Bahrain International.
The launch of the case study documenting Bahrain's strategic response to the pandemic by the WHO reflects the outstanding efforts of the kingdom to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic and its repercussions. To speak more about that, we have with us over the phone the WHO representative and head of office in Bahrain, Dr. Tasneem Atatra. Hello, Dr. Tasneem. Can you tell us about the significance of the WHO's selection of Bahrain as a case study and success story in dealing with the pandemic?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bahrain launched a report documenting its strategic response to the COVID-19 pandemic and showcasing how the country managed to overcome critical challenges through preparedness and early response. The unprecedented health crisis has shown that many health systems across the globe and the well-being of individuals and society across the world have been affected. But countries now have an opportunity to build back stronger by sharing and learning from the best practices to establish a new model of partnership in health emergency documentation and response. Under the wise leadership of His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister in Bahrain, and through the close coordination among the Ministry of Health and all concerned ministries and the Supreme Council for Health, Bahrain's response to the pandemic proved to be very timely, comprehensive, and successful. The presence of a WHO country office on the ground facilitated a 3-level mission of WHO staff members from the country office, from the regional office, and from headquarters to produce a detailed account of Bahrain's operational strategy in containing the spread of the disease. Through this report, WHO seeks to increase communication and exchange of lessons learned among those working in the field of health emergency in the region and globally. The report is part of Bahrain's contribution to the exchange of global best practices to strengthen health emergency preparedness and response across borders.
As the head of the WHO office in Bahrain, you've witnessed many developments in the past year. What are the enablers of success for Bahrain in the health sector, especially in dealing with COVID-19?
Bahrain is one of the first countries to document the COVID-19 experience. Commitment at the highest political level was instrumental to the success of Bahrain's COVID-19 response. Under the leadership of His Royal Highness and the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, Bahrain managed to take significant strides to ensure the highest possible level of safety and maintain health and well-being for all citizens and residents even before the first case was detected. It shows that preparedness, leadership, and multi-sectoral collaboration are critical for a well-managed response to health emergency. A national task force for combating COVID-19 was promptly mobilized after the discovery of the novel virus. And when the first case of the infection in Bahrain was confirmed in the early morning of the 24th of February in 2020, the government moved quickly. All citizens and residents in Bahrain were given access to free testing and treatment services. Prevention, preparedness, and response activities were implemented swiftly across all sectors in a whole of government, whole of society, whole of community approach. Bahrain successfully contained the spread of the disease thanks to the early testing, high vaccination coverage, and the continued provision of essential health services with a well-trained workforce. At the same time, Bahrain managed a number of challenges during its response, including repurposing the workforce, acquiring sufficient protecting equipment, and outreach to vulnerable population. Moreover, which was evident and outstanding, is the commitment of the whole community, where we saw high number of volunteers and coming to join the highly qualified professionals. Thanks to the government of Bahrain for sharing their experiences. We hope that the lessons from this experience will be useful to other countries in the region and globally.
WHO representative and head of office in Bahrain, Dr. Tasneem Atatra, thank you for joining us.